has clapped back at Cathy Engelbert. And this is a great post here from Sophie. So Sophie Cunningham on Instagram. So get ready to take your fine, Sophie. Get ready to take your fine.
The WNBA thought the firestorm was cooling down, but Sophie Cunningham just threw gasoline on it after Commissioner Cathy Engelbert's wild comments about Caitlin Clark. Sophie lit her up publicly. And it didn't stop there. Lexi Hull jumped in, backing up Nneka Collier's bombshell. Now, the commissioner is facing backlash like never before. So here's the real question. Has Cathy Engelbert completely lost control of her own league?
People only know Cathy because of Caitlin. She's the most delusional leader our league has ever seen. And it shouldn't even be about our commissioner in the first place. He's not wrong about that. It is very clear that Cathy Engelbert is pissed off that she's not the face of the league.
Here we go again. Another day, another storm in the WNBA. And wouldn't you know it, all roads lead back to the same person who somehow manages to stir the pot every single week. Commissioner Cathy Engelbert. At this rate, she might as well pass out fine sheets to every player the moment they step into practice, because let's be honest, speaking your truth has suddenly become the newest crime in women's basketball. So, let's break this down crystal clear.
Thank you all for your time today. I have prepared a statement that I would like to make before taking any questions. All right. So first of all, I'd like to congratulate the Mercury for advancing to the finals. And I want to be clear, this conversation is not about winning or losing. It's about something much bigger. The real threat to our league isn't money, it isn't ratings, or even missed calls, or even physical play. It's the lack of accountability from the league office. Since I've been in the league, you've heard the constant concerns about officiating, and it has now reached levels of inconsistency that plague our sport and undermine the integrity in which it operates.
Nafi's Collier lit the fuse at a press conference that felt less like a simple exit interview and more like a full-on airstrike. She didn't hold back, calling Engelbert tone-deaf, blasting the league for brushing aside officiating disasters, and flat-out declaring that WNBA leadership doesn't value its players. And that's not me dressing it up. Those were her exact words. She said they don't value the players. They don't care about the product. And they've let officiating unravel into a complete joke.
Whether the league cares about the health of the players is one thing, but to also not care about the product we put on the floor is truly self-sabotage. Year after year, the only thing that remains consistent is the lack of accountability from our leaders. Sorry, I had to walk here in my boot. I'm kind of out of breath. The league has a buzzword that they've rolled out as talking points for the CBA as to why they can't pay the players what we're worth. That word is sustainability. But what's truly unsustainable is keeping a good product on the floor while allowing officials to lose control of games. Fans see it every night. Coaches, both winning and losing, point it out every night in pregame and postgame media. Yet leadership just issues fines and looks the other way.
Collier wasn't finished. She pulled back the curtain on private talks with Engelbert that left jaws on the floor. When she brought up concerns about officiating, Engelbert allegedly dismissed her with asterisk, only losers complain about refs. Asterisk, imagine that, a commissioner essentially calling her own players whiny losers. A masterclass in leadership, right? It's like a boss strolling into a meeting and telling employees, asterisk, if you don't like the broken air conditioning, you must just be lazy complainers. Asterisk.
At Unrivaled this past February, I sat across from Cathy and asked how she planned to address the officiating issues in our league. Her response was, well, only the losers complain about the refs. I also asked how she planned to fix the fact that players like Caitlin, Angel, and Paige, who are clearly driving massive revenue for the league, are making so little for their first 4 years. Her response was, Caitlin should be grateful she makes $16 million off the court, because without the platform that the WNBA gives her, she wouldn't make anything. And in that same conversation, she told me players should be on their knees thanking their lucky stars for the media rights deal that I got them. That's a mentality driving our league from the top. We go to battle every day to protect a shield that doesn't value us. The league believes it succeeds despite its players.
And then it got uglier. Collier said Engelbert even downplayed Caitlin Clark's star power, claiming Clark should be grateful the WNBA gave her a platform, because without it, she wouldn't be raking in sponsorship money. Excuse me? Clark was already cashing massive nil checks at Iowa, packing arenas to the rafters, and single-handedly turning women's basketball into a primetime spectacle long before Engelbert ever stepped into frame. To suggest Caitlin owes her success to the league is beyond laughable. If anything, it's the opposite. The WNBA owes its recent surge in relevance to Caitlin Clark.
Players are getting screwed in the CBA, by the way. She gave up 18 extra percent in that. She sold 18% of the league. She sold 18% of the league to private investors. Yes, the league might have needed that 18% initially, but if she had not made that deal 2 years ago, 2 years before the Caitlin Clark boom, like, this is how bad it's gotten. Troy Dan is tweeting about it. If you guys know how crazy this is. Troy Dan is tweeting about it. Like, you know this is bad. This is bad when Troy Dan is tweeting about it. Like, I'm not, like, this is bad. And Sophie's on the money.
But here's where everything slid from bad to downright catastrophic. Players across the league started chiming in. And when Sophie Cunningham steps into the spotlight, you already know it's about to get fiery. Sophie has never played it safe. She's fire on the court, fire in interviews, and she never bites her tongue. So when Engelbert's Clark should be grateful comment hit the internet, Sophie lit her up on social media. Her words, Engelbert is the most delusional leader our league has ever seen and should never be commissioner in the first place. Boom. Mic drop. Now, Sophie isn't some rookie desperate for attention. She's been here. She's built her name. She's poured into the league's growth. So when she goes public like that, it sends a signal. This isn't just Twitter outrage. It's boiling inside locker rooms, too. And Sophie didn't dress it up. She didn't throw in any PR polish. She flat out called Engelbert delusional. That's raw. And before Engelbert could even piece together her next corporate word salad, Lexi Hall jumped in. Now, Lexi is usually known more for grit and defense than for quotes. But even she couldn't stay quiet. Hall went public backing Collier, saying she agreed with every word Collier said and was proud of her for speaking up. Think about that. 2 players, different teams, both attaching their names to direct criticism of the commissioner. That doesn't happen unless frustration has hit the breaking point. This isn't a single rant anymore. It's shifting into a movement. And what makes it even heavier is the pattern. Cheryl Reeve called out refs, suspended. Becky Hammond agreed, fined. Stephanie White hinted at inconsistency, fined again. Then Collier lays it bare. Sophie goes nuclear. Lexi adds her voice. That's not random. That's a revolt, brewing right beneath the surface. And let's be real. Every thread here ties back to Caitlin Clark, no matter how much Engelbert tries to deny it. Clark's games are pulling the biggest TV numbers, the largest crowds, the loudest noise online. Yet all season long, she's been a target, taking hit after hit on the court, cheap shots disguised as physical play, while the league looks the other way. No accountability, no adjustments, just fines for anyone bold enough to call it out. Engelbert's biggest mistake is underestimating how obvious this is. Fans aren't clueless. They see Clark shoved to the floor with no whistle. They see refs letting opponents rough her up like it's football. They see coaches find the moment they defend her. And now they see Engelbert dismissing players, saying be grateful, even calling critics losers. That's not tough leadership. That's a PR disaster you can't fix with a press release. And here's where it shifts. This isn't just about bad officiating or Clark anymore. It's about leadership. Plain and simple. The league office seems more obsessed with control than with collaboration. Engelbert runs the WNBA like a detached CEO, not a commissioner who gets what athletes go through. She parades media deals and corporate growth, but ignores the people on the floor. Players get injured. Silence. Fans protest the physicality. Shrug. Coaches beg for consistency. Fine them. That's the Engelbert model. And don't forget, Collier co-founded Unrivaled, that brand new women's league on the horizon. Critics will say she's pushing her own agenda. And maybe she is. But that doesn't mean she's wrong. Sometimes it takes someone with nothing to lose to finally say what everyone else is thinking. And Sophie backing Collier only adds weight, because Sophie has no ties to Unrivaled. Neither does Lexi. They just want a league that values its players instead of silencing them. And let's not overlook the timing. The WNBA is barreling toward a new CBA negotiation, and the tension is already thick. Players want charter flights, better pay, safer conditions. Engelbert keeps tossing around the word sustainability, like it's some magic shield against criticism. But meanwhile, the league boasts about billion-dollar media deals. You can't cry broke while cashing billion-dollar checks. That disconnect is exactly what's feeding this revolt. And to make it worse, Engelbert has turned herself into the headline. A true commissioner stays behind the curtain, lets the players and coaches shine. But Engelbert keeps stepping into the spotlight, whether it's with tone-deaf comments, shaky leadership, or flat-out arrogance. So now, instead of talking playoff basketball, the conversation is all about her. And once we lay out the bombshells from Collier, Sophie Cunningham, and Lexi Hull, the real question becomes, what does this actually mean for the WNBA's future? Because this isn't petty drama. This is an earthquake shaking the league's foundation. Take Sophie again. The way she scorched Engelbert wasn't just a casual jab. It was years of frustration boiling over. She said it directly. Cathy is the most delusional leader the league has ever had and should never be commissioner in the first place. That's not light criticism. That's a declaration the boss has no business running the show. You can't spin that away. And here's the twist. Fans immediately rallied to her side. Social media blew up with support for Sophie, with some even joking about starting GoFundMe pages to cover her fine when the league inevitably comes down on her. That says it all. When fans are already preparing to cover fines for players who simply speak the truth, the league has lost the trust of its own customer base. And then there's Lexi Hull. She's not usually the one making headlines, but her support of Collier was massive. She said she agreed with every word Collier spoke and was proud of her for saying it out loud. That carries weight. Why? Because it proves even the quiet voices are fed up. When someone like Lexi feels the need to step forward, it means frustration isn't just with a handful of outspoken stars. It's everywhere. Which brings us back to the big question. How much longer can Engelbert hang on? You've got players, coaches, and fans all united in criticism. You've got the media pounding away daily. You've got rival leagues like Unrivaled waiting on the sidelines, smelling blood. And most importantly, you've got the NBA, the ultimate overseer of the WNBA, watching its investment get dragged straight through the mud. Adam Silver can't ignore it forever. The NBA poured billions into media deals built on stars like Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, and Paige Bucher's drawing attention. But if Clark keeps taking beatings with no protection, if Angel gets tossed around for drama, and if players like Nafisa are sidelined with injuries while the commissioner shrugs, then those deals start losing value. And trust me, money always speaks. Billion-dollar contracts don't survive when ratings collapse. So let's bring it back to Caitlin Clark. She's not a rookie anymore. Year 2, and she's carrying the league's marketing, attendance, and television ratings on her shoulders. And instead of celebrating that, Engelbert brushed her aside by saying she should be grateful for the WNBA platform. But here's the truth. Clark brought her own platform. She was selling out arenas in Iowa long before she ever wore a Fever jersey. She already had major sponsors lined up. She had millions tuning in to watch her play college ball. For Engelbert to claim the league made Clark isn't just wrong, it's insulting. And that's why Sophie's words cut so deep. Because fans know every bit of it is true. Without Clark, the WNBA's media deal doesn't shine nearly as bright. Without Clark, attendance doesn't surge. Without Clark, the conversation never gets this loud. And yet, instead of protecting her, instead of ensuring she thrives, Engelbert and the league left her as a punching bag for opponents all year. That's why Nafis's words hit so hard. She said the league doesn't care about player health, doesn't care about officiating consistency, doesn't even care about the product fans are paying to see. That's a brutal indictment. She basically accused leadership of sabotaging their own league. And maybe she's right. When players are lost to injuries, when stars get fined for honesty, when fans see thuggery instead of basketball, what's left to sell? And Collier didn't stop there. She exposed Engelbert's arrogance, claiming players should thank their lucky stars for her media rights deal. As if Adam Silver wasn't the one who strong-armed networks into including the WNBA. As if Clark's arrival didn't force advertisers to notice. Engelbert taking credit for that is like someone showing up at halftime with their team already leading by 30, then bragging they carried the squad to victory. Please, the truth is simple. Engelbert is out of touch. She's a corporate exec cosplaying as commissioner. She can run spreadsheets, but she can't run people. And in a league that desperately needs connection between players, fans, and leadership, she's the wrong fit. Collier nailed it. No accountability at the top. None. Players fined. Coaches suspended. Referees untouched. Leadership never takes the blame. And fans aren't blind. They see it. Now here's where it gets ugly. This revolt isn't whispered in locker rooms anymore. It's public. Players torching her online. Coaches calling out inconsistency. Fans mocking her openly. Even media outlets writing headlines asking how long she can last. And every time she answers with another bland PR line, the hole gets deeper. So what's next? Let's be real. If the NBA decides the WNBA is sliding from asset to liability, Engelbert could be forced out quietly after the CBA wraps. They'll let her take a bow for signing media deals, then escort her out the door. Or if things unravel faster, it could be even sooner. Because here's the truth. You can't have a commissioner openly mocked by her own players week after week. It strips the league of its credibility. And the damage isn't hypothetical. It's already here. Fans who tuned in for Clark are already checking out. Social media is flooded with posts saying, "I'm done watching until the league protects her." Ratings are slipping. Attendance outside of fever games, flat. And instead of facing the problem, Engelbert acts like everything is fine. But it's not. And players like Sophie and Lexi calling her out are proof. This isn't about one blown whistle. It's about a culture of negligence. Referee blunders brushed aside. Player health ignored. Coaches punished for honesty. And when stars finally snap, Engelbert's answer is to call them losers or tell them to be grateful. That isn't leadership. That's arrogance. Let's call it what it is. The WNBA has the best women's basketball talent in the world, but the worst leadership in pro sports. That's what Nafisa said. That's what Sophie and Lexi backed up. And the truth is, they're right. This league should be exploding with Clark, Reese, Buchers, Boston, Collier, Wilson, and more. This should be the golden era. Instead, it's chaos. And think about the optics. You've got your commissioner dismissing